This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring author, psychologist and daily contributor, Siobhan Scott.
Will Alec Murdaugh get a new murder trial? That's going to be up for debate shortly. The reality is very much there. He could even be a free man at some point in his life after all the charges, and the sentence for the financial crimes will wrap up in about 28 years or so. So if he's found innocent, Alec could get out at some point in time. It all stems back to Becky Hill and the allegations of jury tampering and her character as well, as we're learning more and more about that. Here to discuss, Siobhan Scott, psychotherapist and author. Siobhan, as we go into getting closer and closer to the evidentiary hearing, character is going to play a big part in this. It's no longer just, did you make some offhanded comments to a juror or two? Now it's, well, how often are you trying to use your power or influence or just your voice in general to express your opinions in places that maybe they shouldn't be? How much do you think the other allegations are going to weigh in on this, including the allegations of improper use of her office, now plagiarism as well? Thoughts?
Yeah, it looks horrible. It just looks horrible. And as I always say, it's so traumatic for those of us that follow these trials to think, oh, we're going to have to go through this again. But it does increasingly look terrible. Like she was inappropriate on so many levels, seeking to profit in so many levels, you know, embezzling funds, the issue with her son and the IT department. I mean, it just looks really damning at this point. I feel it's very unfortunate.
One of the common things that we heard initially when people were talking about Becky Hill, the clerk of court, is she's such a nice lady. She's so kind and friendly and all that, but that doesn't necessarily, equate to, ethical, if you will. I mean, there are allegations here about her cashing checks in excess of $10,000 in her own name that were made out to Colton County. And there's several other allegations as well. Are we just beginning to kind of learn about an arc of behavior here with someone? Maybe, the wound was picked and now the blood's starting to gush out. And oh my gosh, this is a much larger wound than we even realized.
Yeah, it sure looks like this is, in all likelihood, a pattern of behavior that ethics there were just not really looked at very closely. A lot of flexibility, and while flexibility in little doses can be a good thing in this kind of legal realm, you've just got to be by the book. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it looks like this may be a long-standing pattern and may affect other cases, that they'll take another look at where there are improprieties. So it could be a very big thing.
I mean, that's a big question to ask, and I've been wondering that myself. I mean, this obviously there's attention on the Alec Murdaugh case. It's a huge one, but she's the clerk of court. She's been presiding there for many, many, many cases. What are the odds, you think, that this is happening in a vacuum, and this is just an isolated incident of her behavior in this one way with this one case?
Yeah, it usually doesn't work that way. People have patterns. That's what the whole field of psychology is based upon, studying the patterns. And we can make a lot of guesses about what people are going to do in the future based upon what they've done in the past. So I would be looking very carefully at her history. And my guess is that you would see other kinds of impropriety in the past.
How often, we see the plagiarism accusations coming up. She's admitting to those, which is interesting. She's taking responsibility. Do you think we're going to see anything else come out of this? Is this a time where maybe she'll own more of this and take responsibility, or is it best for her to dig in at this point because she already has gone that far?
It's anybody's call. Who knows? I think when a person feels like the evidence is irrefutable and they're going to be in big trouble, sometimes it's to their advantage to admit it and to come out and say, I am looking for mercy here. So she may be doing that. She may do more of that as it becomes clearer that she's not going to be able to finagle her way out of it.
Be very interesting to watch as it continues to unfold. That hearing coming up towards the end of January will reveal quite a bit on if Alec Murdaugh gets a new day in court.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.